Live from downtown Houston, Super Bowl Central, it's Learn to Paint with Ginger Cook on Tuesday. Ginger, I know you're out there somewhere. Sammy, what are you doing?
Looks like Sammy's getting ready for the Super Bowl.
It does indeed, doesn't it? Ah, there you are.
Right.
Crazy bear.
Hi, John. You guys, hi everybody. My name's Ginger Cook. If you just tuned in because YouTube told you there was a live show and you think, yeah, what are they doing here? We do acrylic painting on this live show, Ginger Cook Live, and it's really a lot of fun. We take it doesn't matter where you are in your painting skills. If you've never painted before, if you've been painting for a million years, you know, you might catch something that you didn't know, and it just might be entertaining. And the thing about a live show is that there's all these marvelous people from around the world on there with you. Everybody's chatting, having a good time. If you have a question and we don't see it, you can put it in capital letters. Gets a lot of people on here sometimes, and we're happy to answer questions, particularly right before we go to break. Our moderator and executive producer and business partner in gingercooklive.gallery, our online teaching academy, is John Little, and he is in our studio. That was the voice you heard, the radio voice. So we're going to get right to it today because this is going to take probably a full hour and a half probably to do this. I'll try to do this in about an hour and 10, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. What we're going to be painting, sometimes what we're going to be painting today is bubbles. Isn't that pretty? And I have a small example of this, you know, how you might paint it, okay? Now the difference between this one and this one is that this photograph is on glossy paper. Now when your acrylics dry, all right, they're going to dry flatter than this. So what you have to do then is varnish them to bring the color back, all right? Or use a glazing medium as you go, and that will make them a little shinier. But the problem with me doing something shiny for you is that the lights pick up the glare, and it's kind of hard to see it then. But that's the shiny part, okay? So basically what we're going to do first, I'm going to show you the colors. We're going to be using titanium white, zinc white, or mixing white, phthalo blue, Southern Ocean blue. If you don't have that, you know, if you got a phthalo green, that'd be a good color to use. Dazzling purple, ultramarine blue, cad yellow medium, yellow oxide, cad red medium, naphtha crimson, and quadrichrome magenta. Okay, magenta. So, you know, and you know, if you have a hot pink or something in your, you know, your store, or some iridescent color might be fun too. Okay.
One more thing I want to mention, it's a 10 by 20 canvas we're doing tonight.
Oh yeah, good point, John. It's a 10 by 20 canvas that we're doing tonight. You can see that here, right? And incidentally, I got to tell you guys, I'll make a quick announcement. If you have a Michaels in your area, we picked this canvas up. We got, how many did we get?
I think it was
we got 6 for $12.99. They had a special sale. So yeah. It was like $2 for the canvas. They're running that sale through Saturday. Just thought I'd point that out. We like, listen, we're the, you know, you'll see that on our Facebook page. We're cheap as the next guy. You know, I mean, everybody wants a deal. I'll tell you, if there's a deal somewhere, I'll tell you. I heard about it. I went over there and bought it. They don't pay me to say that, but that was pretty good. That's a longer painting. The reason is that this is, I think, this is almost abstract in nature. And by the way, if you're just tuning in to watch this, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I'd ask you to do so now. And there's a little bell underneath the subscribe button. If you push that, then whenever we go do a live show, you'll be aware of it. Because sometimes we sneak in a few, but not just Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We sneak in a couple, and so that's the trick to get notified. All right. So you'll notice that our background is not black. It's sort of a dark green. Can you zoom in on this photograph for me, John?
I can.
All right, now it's really more of a dark green color. So if you look on your color wheel, on the grayscale on your color wheel, if I come over here, it's not on the light side, it's on the dark side. Ooh, on the dark side of the color wheel. Do you see that?
Ooh, the dark side.
The shade is in here. So whenever a color that you mix is going to be on this dark side, then what you want to do is start with the darkest color first. All right, so in other words, yellow and blue is green, but you wouldn't start with yellow, you'd start with blue. Make sense? So that's just these little tips that we give you. And I'm going to just grab a palette knife, and I think I'm going to take all of my phthalo blue, it's a pretty big canvas, and all of my ultramarine blue and put them together. And then I'm going to take some yellow, about half that yellow, put it together. And boy, that's still a pretty bright green. Now, how do you make purple? Do you guys remember if you didn't have dazzling purple, how would you make it? Well, purple is what? You know, not everybody speak at once. Purple is red and blue, right? So if I grabbed all this purple and put it in here. Now I've got a pretty decent dark green. Do you see that? I've got a really decent dark green. I might grab a little bit of this yellow oxide because that puts a little red in it. There we go. So that's pretty good. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take my water mister here, fine water mister, and I'm going to just gently mist my canvas like that. Just barely mist it. And I'm going to grab my older number 12 filbert, okay, brush, ruby satin silver filbert, and I'm just going to start up close to me. Want to see this beautiful nice streak? It's almost a Loden green, you know, that sort of German Loden green color. But come on down here like this, and come down and across, down and across, down and across. This is a very fast way to paint something. Sort of weave this on here like that. All right, now this is on a table. It's kind of far away from me, so let's see. Let's put out some more paint here. And then what I'll have to do is dry this. And John will talk to you about some stuff that we're doing. I love it when people, if you've sent in some art critiques, the day was kind of, I didn't get any done today. Usually I need 3 or 4 days to get to your painting. Sometimes you'll get it the same day for the personal art coaching. Today was kind of a hectic day for us. I couldn't tell you why, but you know, everybody has those days. Now what I want to do is just turn this around like that and bring it down toward me. So there's the top of this. Let's just pull up some excess paint here and make sure you're getting the edges right. Now, all right, now you see that took about, that did a little bit over half a canvas like that. That's all that did. And I no longer have paint out. So this is, I only like to put out just a small amount at a time because you can't get it back in the tube easily. I mean, I've seen people do it, but you know, who'd want to do that really?
There's better things to do with time. I
guess it's therapy, yeah. And I was teaching, I was teaching a private lesson today in our neighborhood, and that sort of, I usually don't do that on a Tuesday, but we have, I've got the eye surgery on Thursday, which is normally when I would teach that lesson. So all right, so I've got the phthalo blue here and the ultramarine blue. Try not to do anything on live days, you know, that take up, you know, big commitments here. A little bit of that color. Oh no, yeah, we got to put out the purple. Where did we stick that? Dazzling purple. Let's put out a little more of that, like this. Okay. Here we go. So there's our purple. And sometimes you'll see really big brushes in the all really nice little pieces. I can follow it. By the way, you know, that. Even it out, like that. And now I'm going to take the paint with the dark green color. Now this, I'll put it right like that. There we go. Now, there. This brush is going in water. This palette knife is going in water. I'm going to just put out more of the phthalo blue because I used it all up.
At the moment, we're having internet problems, apparently.
Uh-oh. No kidding.
YouTube's not getting the feed again. It's getting slowed.
Okay.
I don't know why. I mean, we've got it basically where we've always been having it, so I got a feeling it's YouTube again.
Can they hear us?
There's probably garbly.
Perfect.
Okay, the feed has just come back on. So let's kind of, your whole background was really pixelated when you were doing it.
Was it?
It's pretty typical how you do them.
It was our dark green color. All right, you saw
Yeah.
the dark green color, and we just covered it. We had to cover the background with something. This is what we're painting. If you came in late, we're painting these bubbles. All right, and this was my sample that I did small. All right, and this is a 10 by 20 canvas, because this is almost an abstract if you think about it. I mean, it isn't, but it is kind of. You know what I mean? It's sort of a decorator piece. It's kind of pretty. In fact, two of these would be really nice if you kind of spaced the bubbles a little different and hung them both up on the wall. It'd be real pretty. It's kind of a nice decorator piece. Might be. It's just happy. Everybody likes bubbles. They're sort of happy.
Okay,
And,
we seem to be back up. Everybody's coming back on again.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. Seems that YouTube wasn't getting our buffering or feed for whatever reason.
So what I need to do now is dry this.
Yeah.
Which means I have to pick up all this. And
Ooh,
Can
hold
you
on,
grab it?
folks. Yeah, don't touch that dial.
I just dropped the whole palette off the table, and it went vertical on the floor. It did not go upside down on the floor. I mean, do we live? Look at that.
Look at that drop.
Look at that. You can kind of think what kind of things went that way, but it didn't drop. All right. Okay. I think this was the invoice. You want to take the invoice, please?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Good. I got a colored one.
Okay, so now I'm going to dry this. Okay, we're off to a rip-roaring start today, aren't we? This is fun, but we got to dry something. That's just the deal here. So we're going to dry things, and I've got to move this out of the way because when I dry, the hairdryer just seems to just blow everything off the table.
Wait 1 second before you start it, so I can turn you off and get
Yeah, John's got paint all over his hands now from where that tipped upside down. I'm telling you what, you're just having a good time. Kind of an atomic paint table today. Everything's falling out, right? It's just all right. Here we go.
Okay, go.
All right, so I'm going to dry this now, and if I do it on high heat and I hold it hair dryer really close. All right, and just get methodically about it and dry it. In fact, I could just turn it. See, this is so silly. What I could turn it this way. Oh yeah. Okay. So here we go. All right, we're good, right?
And she's off. Okay, guys. I'm trying to reset that, see if that works. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Looks like we might have lost that one. All right, I'll have to take a look at that. Anything else going on? I'm assuming the audio is okay. Let me fix the insert. Yeah, I've turned it off for right now. You won't see. It'll take a couple of seconds or minutes before you'll get it. I have to reset that and see if we can get that one to come back. Crazy night, that's a minor situation. I wanted to have some pictures. I hope can't hear. Can everybody else hear me? And now it's max headroom. Headrooming again? Well, we're going to have to do that. I don't know, we must have to do this lesson again. Audio's good, okay with me. Okay. What we're going to be doing is there's a picture of a turtle a lady did. I have not got a chance to put it over onto our server so we can bring it up and show it to you. It is really good. I do want to see if that works. Now, once Ginger comes back, I'll try to get the... Oh, she's back. I'll try to get the picture-in-picture fired back up again. Let's see what it does. Right now, you're off, Ginger. I mean, your voice is on.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Now, if you had time, I would do 2 coats of this. I would just do another coat of this and dry it. I'm not going to take the time this evening to do that, but that's what I would do. That's my recommendation, is do 2 coats and dry it. This is a good thing to do. And did we unplug something?
No, everything's up. This little guy went out, the one that I used to have me talk to them at the same time. It's all on.
Okay. Well, we just do the best we can here. You know, we got 4 cameras, and sometimes things are persnickety. Like that word, persnickety. All right. Now, if you'll recall, you know, just a minute ago, what we were painting was this, right? Somebody sent this in and said, "Could you teach me how to paint, you know, this kind of thing?" And it's just what you're talking about. It's just kind of this sort of fun glowing thing. And there was an example where I painted it, and I said, this is on shiny photo paper. And sometimes you'll get something off your iPad one of your tablets, a picture, and it'll be backlit. No matter what you do, you'll never get it as glossy as that. And just don't even try, okay? It just won't happen. But this could be brighter, this could be shinier had I varnished it, because varnish brings the colors back out, all right? So that would be the way, or if I'd use glazing medium. Now something this small I'm not. I think tonight I'm going to use glazing medium and kind of show you how that works. But the first thing we want to do is a background like this. You'll notice that they've got these smaller circles in here. Let me just sort of, I'm going to put it this way. This is how I did the vertical. I'll turn this around. I've decided this is up, okay? So what I want is I'm going to just take a small pencil, charcoal pencil, and if you have trouble drawing circles, you know, that's all right. Just take an old paint cap. I'm just going to come up here and just trace around it. If you're having trouble, you know, don't do it like that, but try to flip the cap out. See if you, well, it would have been better to just draw this by hand. But if you're having trouble drawing a circle, you can trace it around something like that. And I'll just sort of indicate some circles I might want, okay, in here like this. And then maybe a half a circle coming off the canvas. That never hurts, like that, never hurts. And sometimes they can be, overlapping, like that. Maybe one like that, kind of like a chain, right? And then, so I've got those, okay. And then up here, I want a bigger circle. I want a bigger one, about like that, all right? Now, this is where I never throw out anything, any lids or anything. I like to keep lids. I throw some out, but I always keep a few paint lids and paint caps and stuff. So, like, for instance, here's a nice round cap, and all I have to do again is trace around that. Okay, see that? Now I've got a nice round circle there, all right? Now, the thing about bubbles is they're not always round. So, I mean, this one was round. And, for instance, I might say that there's one here, and that's going to be round, like that. Okay? All right, that went right around, but maybe this one is not as round, okay? So it doesn't all have to be, sometimes freehanding in can be freeing, and this one definitely up here, this one up here, see that? This is almost a football shape. And then there's like a little bubble underneath it like this. And then we come down here and I've got a smaller one here, like that. And it looks like it's touching that one, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're your bubbles, they move around. Have you ever seen them? They're fast, right? So I'll put another one here. Then down toward the bottom, I'll put it, for balance, I'll put a bigger one. Even though it isn't in the picture like that, isn't in the photograph, I'll put a bigger one, and I'll put some right here. Just maybe one there, a smaller one here. Then something off the canvas like that. All right, so those are my bubbles, and they're sort of making like a little S pattern, okay? And if I decide after looking at that I want some more, this is a little sparse in here. Let's increase the size of this one like that. And I'm going to make this one even bigger. Let's make this one bigger. All right, and make this one bigger. And then we'll make that one smaller. All right. Okay, so then what has to happen, I'll just move these out of the way so you can kind of see it, is that these have to be painted white. That's all that has to happen, is these need to be painted white. And I'm just going to take some titanium white, and I'll just come down here and paint the first ones in. Start in the middle. Don't outline. Start in the middle and then expand your circles out, okay? That's what I'm going to suggest you do, is just start in the middle and expand everything out like that. And here's where I need a little water. I need a little water in my cup here, because I'm going to have to put a little water on this. John, I think my fan would be very handy. Is it possible to turn that on?
Anything for you, my queen.
Oh, thank you, because I'm getting a little cooked here under the lights. And perhaps dinner was a mistake. We went out to guest took us out to a very nice seafood dinner. Jay, our house guest, Jay. And now I'm having buyer's remorse. How's that? Cannot eat the same things one used to when one had a gallbladder. It's all right. We will carry on, you guys. So, all right. So here's how we're going to do this. going to come down like this, paint these in the front. You just have to, and you may need 2 coats of white, okay? In order for your bubbles to be very nice and shiny, you may need 2 coats of white. And that's good to know, right? Because you can't, yellow only paints over white, but if you want something to sort of, get that sort of shiny, glowy thing, you're going to want that. And now here's another half one here, like that. I'm going to put on here like that, little half one. And I think I'm going to move this out of the way. Put this over here. Oh, you've really zoomed in on me, right?
Yeah, I can back up though. What do you need?
Yeah, a little bit. So you can see I'm starting in the middle and then expanding. I just want you to see how I do these. I'm starting in the middle, and I'm using a really pretty nice circle going there. Now let's just turn this upside down. Continue on with this like that. We'll make a nice big one. And the thing about painting something like this is that, it's just, once you get the hang of it, you could make this any size. What I'm trying to show you tonight is actually how you do it. How you get that effect, because that's the hard part. Is that, the actual, once that you get a couple bubbles down, you're going to have no trouble painting it, okay? You just got to get the first ones in here. Okay, so here's this one. This one's kind of touching this. All right, like that. And then these ones are coming around like that. And again, don't panic if you don't have a perfect circle. Bubbles really aren't. They don't have to, certainly don't have to be. I'm going to come down here like this. Say here's a half a bubble right here like that. Get new paint for each one. All right, now remember up here we had sort of this oval one, kind of this funny little oval one. Okay, almost looks like a little opal, and then there's some sort of little bubble that's coming off the canvas like this underneath it. Little tiny bit of water, make sure everything's flowing. Here's what's happening. Your paint and acrylics, sometimes people have a hard time with acrylics because they dry so fast, but remember, your paint's drying in your brush too, so every once in a while you just have to rinse the brush, kind of clear it out, unclog it. Some of you may remember the days when we used to have not ballpoint pens, but we had pens where you'd fill up the ink, and if sometimes the pen would clog. Think about that with your brush, because it can definitely do that. Okay, just a little bit of, there we go, just sort of smooth that around. All right, so now here's that, and I'm going to turn it back around like this. This is sort of the direction I want my picture, all right? Now while this is drying, all right, make sure I've got a good edge here. I'm going to rinse the brush, just like what I said. And I want to take some yellow oxide and just come around here like this and paint in some of these. All right, little circles. I can almost use my brush like this and just sort of spin it around. Almost like little parentheses. I'm going to use some yellow oxide to paint that out. There we go. There we go. And here's some of these like this. Little circles. There we go. If you make it thinner, they'll look a little more translucent. They won't be so bright. And I think I want one over here too. Just put one over here. All right, now I'm going to take some cad yellow medium and some phthalo blue and make a pretty, mostly some yellow oxide, make a pretty bright green here. Let's see, let me find a place to do it. That's pretty nice, kind of a bright green. And I'm going to come over here like that and put in a few of these over here. They're a little greener. Okay, I'm going to put some in here like this. This is a pretty big space. And again, they don't have to, we're gonna glaze these back, but I want these kind of this green color before we start. All right, and maybe put one down here like this. All right, okay, so at this point, This is about as much as I can do with this before it dries. I mean, we got to dry it. Okay, so this bottom line has got to be dried. And so to facilitate that, I'll try not to throw this on the floor, John. You know, this is the top of this is very annoying to me. There, okay, there we go. All right, so that's there. Did you guys, if those of you who didn't catch last night's show, if you haven't done this one yet, see our little, we did this last night, and it was based on our pots of flowers, you know, from a couple weeks ago. If you haven't done this one yet with the umbrella, it's really a lot of fun. This is a good, that was the video live lesson we did last night. All right, so while I dry that, John, maybe you have some other thoughts for folks.
I'll see what I can come up with. Let me mute you. All right, go ahead. All right, she's off and running again. I don't know what's going on with the feed tonight. It's interesting about the electrical. We are in one room now, so that could be an issue. But we were doing great, so we'll keep an eye on that. I didn't get the other person's turtle picture over yet. I still got to find it. You guys got to see this. It's really fantastic. It's personal art coaching. This is what Ginger does on the gingercooklive.gallery website. You become a member. Even the 7-day membership now, you can send in one of the paintings during your week and get personal art coaching so you can experience what that's about. Yeah, I think she's well enough. She'll make it. She will stop, or I'll keep an eye on her and we'll cut it. But I think she's okay. We'll take a look at that. We'll keep an eye on her because tomorrow's a big day, and we got to get all that ready. So it's a busy week, and with the surgery and all. So the other thing on the website, as I said, it's Ginger's birthday tomorrow, and she's going to be getting a gift to all of you folks, everybody in YouTube land and elsewhere around the world. And we will announce that. Hopefully I will get that up done tonight and have that available and ready. And, oh, she's back after these commercial messages.
Oh, good. Good. All right.
Now where are you going to go to? So I can zoom you to where I need to be.
Well, just I'm going to work on these front ones, I think. We're just going to work on these front ones.
You can start adding the colors now?
Let's start adding the colors.
Okay, I'm going to do it like that.
So I'm going to rinse my brush right like this.
Does that look pretty good there?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. So I'm going to come down here, and I just want you to sort of see what I'm talking about and put this up here so you can kind of see what I'm trying to do here, right? So these are like layers of colors. So I'm going to take I've got some Southern Ocean blue, and if you didn't have that, you could use phthalo green. All right, and I'm just going to come up here like this. And I'm going to glaze over, just using water on my brush, part of this white circle. Maybe under here like that. Just glaze around like that. And it's just a little bit of water. Okay. Now I'm just going to do one coat of that, maybe, like that. Just, there you go. Maybe I might come through like that. Now, that's all I'm doing with that. Okay, and I'm looking around. You can see that. And as I do this, I'll look around, see. I didn't put one here, but that's okay. I might do one back here like this, and I could use glazing liquid, but I'm afraid that the glare would be too much. All right, so I'll come back here and maybe I'll glaze over this whole white one, like that, just the whole white one like that. Okay, and then here I'm still on this one. So let's see, what could we do here? Maybe we've got a very little tiny stain of color. If you use too much water, it molecularly will not bind to your canvas. So if you get too much water and not enough paint, it won't grab the color underneath, which is why you use glazing medium. So like this is glazing medium right here, and I don't know what I would have to put it in. If I have anything to put it in. Let's see, I'll just put a drop there and I can kind of show you. So if I want something very thin, I would use glazing medium. Because glazing medium, let me just show you here, glazing medium not only will add some shine, okay, make it seem a bit shinier, but it'll allow me to go thinner. Does that make sense? I can go much thinner and I can layer. All right. So let's just, here's a tiny bit of that. You can use water if you didn't have it. You just can't get too thin with it, right? Let's just come on up here and do some of these bubbles up here. So we're going to come around the outside of this one maybe. I think that was supposed to be yellow, but I don't care. I'm just doing this like this. Maybe part of this one, a little more glazing medium. I want it kind of thin here, very thin. See how thin I can make it? But it won't come off the canvas because the glazing medium is pure polymer, and it will hang in there with us, all right? Now on this top one up here, I'll just sort of scoot this down. I'll come up here, a little bit of glazing medium. And the other thing you could use too, if you didn't have glazing medium, you could use medium and varnish too. That would work too. And let's just get the outside of these like that. Okay. All right, now I'm just using pure glazing medium now. My brush has got paint on it. You couldn't get it this thin if you were using water because it wouldn't bind. That's what you run into, and this is why you want, this is why you would even bother with it, all right? So we're starting to put these colors on, and we're gonna go all the way up. This is the Southern Ocean Blue. I'm gonna go all the way up here like this, just cover this one. All right, I'm just going to cover this one up here. Glazing is all about layers. Oil painters glaze all the time. That's their deal. They glaze all the time. Okay. Here's this one. Let's just cover this one up a bit. Okay, and then maybe this top one will come up here. They glaze all the time. And one time saw this artist that had done this lemon, and he had just added, and you got to dry in between, and he had glazed on this, all these yellows on this lemon. It was beautiful. Now I'm going to switch blues and try a little bit of ultramarine blue. Okay, so here we go. So I've switched blues now. So that you can kind of clean your brush a little bit. I'll put another drop of this. This particular brand is liquid glaze medium, but you can use anybody's glazing medium. Someone's going to ask that, does it? Okay. Now here's a little bit of glazing medium and a tiny bit of ultramarine blue. All right. I'm going to say that the ultramarine blue is more of your Atlantic Ocean color. And let's see, where's my picture? Okay. That'll work. A little bit more of that. Just there we go. All right, so okay, so you can kind of see where I've done that. Now, you remember these? I'm going to take some of this glazing medium here and a little bit of our dark background, all right? Like that, and I'm going to glaze over these. See that? And I'm going to push these way in the back, like that. A little bit of the dark background here. See, remember those on the left? And let's see what happens. They're just sort of disappearing. You can still see them, but I'm having them, they're sort of disappearing. There we go. Let's just make that one go away. All right, so these are more disappeared than those, all right? Now, since I've been in the dark color, I've got to rinse my brush. And then you got to ask yourself, you can keep adding colors if they are colors that you would blend anyway, like yellow and blue make green. So if you need to get into the greens, you could do that. We could add a little bit, for instance, a little bit of yellow, make sort of a green color. Southern Ocean Blue, to make some sort of green color. Let's just wipe this off. Now here I've got, on this one I might want some sort of yellow-green color right in here like that. Bubbles tend to pick up the colors that's in the room, right? So there's no right or wrong way on this, okay? It doesn't have to be colors. up here. Okay, so as long as I'm staying in the blues and greens, I'm in good shape. Does that make sense? But if we start changing colors, getting into the reds and the pinks, then we're not in good shape anymore. So let's take a little bit of ultramarine blue, and you wouldn't use white. You wouldn't use white with glazing. Here's some ultramarine blue. And let's just say we wanted something a little darker right here, like this. Wipe some of that off. Let's just say we want it a little bit darker. I'm going to overlap it here. I want to kind of stay away from the yellow. But I might come this way. And again, it allows your colors to be very translucent. And if you had a lot of different blues, you could do that. I might put a little magenta with that blue. Okay. And say come up on this one.
Is this one of those paintings that you'd be using brighter circus type colors?
This is a circus color for sure. These are circus colors for sure. I'm going to try a little phthalo blue now, a little glazing medium, a little phthalo. Let's come under here like that. See, I want this a little bit darker on the outside of my bubble here. Okay. Now here's the trick. At some point, I think I need some just pure glazing medium with nothing on it. You've got to dry. You can't just keep glazing. You've got to dry in between. All right? You've got to sort of dry your colors. That's one of the secrets about doing this is you've got to, so I can come up here like that and soften this, but you've got to dry your colors.
Again, it's all about layering.
This is all about, acrylics are always about layering. It's always, always, always about layering. All right? So here's a little glazing medium, a little phthalo blue. It is always, always, always about layering.
And we had somebody ask a question. You've seen those little round circle sponges?
Yeah, they'd work.
For those that are challenged with
Circles, sure. I've seen them. Yeah. You could do that. You could absolutely do whatever easy to make a round something for you, you know, whatever you find is easy to make something round, right? You absolutely could do it. Sure. And see, I want this to be a little bit, you know, softer right here.
And again, the white color was there to make the colors pop.
Yeah, there had to be white. If you didn't have white, then this doesn't work. So I'm going to put a little of this light blue down here over this white one, like this down
What
here
I'm doing
at the
is
bottom.
going back through some of these questions I've been missing.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, people always say, well, what do you have to do here to make this work? You've got to dry in between, and you've got to understand when you're laying your colors what you can do and what you can't do with something like this. Okay. So you can do about anything. Here's a little bit of yellow oxide on this one. I'm going to just put a little bit on here.
What about using zinc white and background color to push the little bubbles back?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No, wouldn't work.
You really have to glaze
You know, you
it.
should try these things. When you have questions like that, try it, because words don't teach. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow here and put it up here, and a little bit of cad yellow medium now. And even though I'm glazing, I'm going to add a little bit of that lighter yellow right here on top of this and on top of this before I dry it. I'm going to brighten up some yellow here. So this is a combination of glazing and color, right? Does that make sense? And then I want a little bit of a dark green color. I want to come here in the middle of this with that dark green background color, which we saved, right? Everybody remembers we saved that, okay? And so in the center of this, I've got this dark green color, and then it's kind of coming out like that on this one. Okay.
If you did ask a question we haven't asked it or seen it, mentioned it, please put it in caps again, because I was looking away trying to work on the site, keep it running.
I'm going to
So I
put
may
some
have
dark
missed it.
green back up in here like this. I want some dark green in the center of this and coming around here at the top. Maybe put a little of this dark green. Okay. This is a good one to add some dark green back on, but probably not before the center of this one this very bright green in here. The center of this this one has got some very pretty bright green colors. So I might add that to the center before I dry it, and then I'll put some dark over it. It's fun to play with this because you've got so many different colors that you can kind of glaze on here like that. There you go. All right, something like that. Now let's just take a minute and pause and dry everything. Okay, let's just do that. And I'm sorry, this is how long it takes to paint a painting. You know, most people spend 2 or 3 weeks painting something, and if I'm painting big stuff like the stuff behind me, I don't try to do it in an afternoon or day. I'll just do a little bit at a time so I can really focus on it. But let's go ahead and do this. And I'm going to just start drying the front and front, okay? Drying the front stuff, okay?
Yep. All right, you guys want to see the photo again. While she's drawing, I'll go ahead and zoom over it. See how she didn't move it. Oh, there it goes. Ah! Well, you had it for a second. Hopefully you see it. Can we use glycerine for glazing? She thinks about it. What she thinks about it. We'll have to ask her on that one. She didn't move the palette this time. She's risking it. I'm still working on the one turtle picture I want you guys to see. Oh, that painting behind Ginger, that is a wave and water. It was a wave one she did a while ago, and she's still working on it. It'll probably end up being in the wave and water class. I'm not sure. That's going to be a massive one to do, though. We're still trying to figure out how to do that one. That's a really big one. And she's back. Ginger, we'd like to see the photo again. If you could just plop that in there for a moment. There we go. Thank you.
Yep. Yep, here's the photo again. This is what we're doing right here, okay? Here's our photo and here's our bubbles. I want this as a vertical, but it's easier for me to see it like that. Does that make sense? It's just, I have to be able to see it, and it's rather than reach across the table, it's easier for me to do this.
Yeah, this is one we almost should have done on the vertical.
This is our sample painting. This is what we're going for, and we're layering it on. All right, that's what we're doing. We're layering it on. We dried that. I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo blue, and I want another layer of color here. See, this is my next layer color. Here we go. There we go. So this is the layer of glaze over that one. Okay.
Oh, here's a question. Can we use glycerin for glazing? What she thinks about that?
Don't have any thought about it. I'm telling you what you should use, and if you want to try something else, you're welcome to. I don't know. See, problem is I just don't know. I mean, I go ahead if I'm going to spend my money on a canvas and my money on paint, then I'm going to buy something I know works. How's that, right?
Yeah.
And I look at that and I say, well, glazing medium, what's that supposed to do? Now, you don't have to buy Liquid-X. Other people make it. And I told you can use a medium and varnish as a glazing liquid. Not a varnish, but a gloss medium and varnish will work too. You do have to dry. That's the trick. You do have to dry. So, all right. So we're going over this again with this is phthalo blue, and we're going over this again, all right? And then I might even take a little ultramarine blue, okay? And maybe hit this a little darker here like that in a couple places. Okay, the same thing here. I might just take the side of my brush and add maybe add some dark contrast here. How about this one? Let's add a little dark contrast here to the outside of this bubble in a couple places. Not the whole thing, outlining the whole thing, but you want to do that. Sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. Have you ever noticed that? So you want something and you don't have it, and you don't feel like going out to the store to get it, or you just don't feel like doing that, right? So you grab something in the house and see if it works, and maybe you might come up with something better than I'm going to show you. So I'm not telling you don't do stuff. I'm just saying that if I have an intention to do a particular thing, then if I have, I try to buy the stuff I think will, be helpful. Okay, so here's my blue coming around, second layer. Do you see that? Not trying to cover up all the light layers, but second layer. Here's some green, and as it goes over green, see how it changes it. The same thing here, outside layer, a little bit darker, maybe a little ring here. maybe something going here on this one, like that. Just, there we go. See, let's see what we've got going down here. So, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue. If you had phthalo green, that would be all right. Here's a little Southern Ocean blue. That's pretty. Okay, something here like that on the outside of this. You can always go back with white too. If you lose it all, you can dry it and go back with white and then start again, right? So you're just, this takes a little patience. I mean, I understand it does. It takes a little patience. I'm going to do a little green here. Okay, on this one. This one I think we're going for green. Okay. Here, we're going for green on this one. And
you zoom in a little bit there.
Just, maybe I want just something a little bit thinner, something, you know, some little lines now. Using just the edge of this. I love these brushes because you can, these angle brushes, you can make a thin line, you can make a fat line. I mean, they're awesome for that. Let's see, what do we got? Something on the inside of here. Well, we really tighten that up here. Let's just blend some green this way and that way on this, so it's not so stark. Now let's take a little, maybe a little Southern Ocean blue, sort of a turquoise color, and come back around here like this. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, just over this, so it's not quite so bright dark. Okay, like that. There we go. That's fine.
Someone noticed that you left off a tiny bubble from the little one.
This one, yeah, I forgot this one. I could actually put it back by the time by the time I got back to it, it would be okay like that. There we go.
Again, that was a sketch. I mean, when you created something to begin with, you may change your mind as you're building it. And we're on a different size canvas. It's definitely not proportional.
That was a, you know, more of a rectangle, right?
And this one's
so,
long,
you know,
skinny.
and just because it's a photograph of bubbles doesn't mean we have to put every one of their bubbles in, right? Just you know, kind of keep that in mind, right? So let's take a little bit of magenta and let's play with this one. All right, so if I put a little magenta in here just over the yellow, look what happens. Over the yellow it turns orange.
That's a cool
and in the
color.
center it goes pink, all right? And in the center here, it's going to turn pink, kind of a hot pink. Got to be careful. I don't want it to go over green, but I could put it in the center here, like this one. Like that. And then maybe, still in my, just a little bit of glazing medium here. Still maybe just here I'll put just a little bit of this pink. Going this way. Ooh, that's pretty. And where it goes over the blue, it sort of goes purple. Do you see that? Where you put a little of this over the blue, it goes purple. That's nice. Where could I put some purple? How about up over here like this? How about a little bit of pink here? Mostly glazing like that. There we go. Put something there. Ooh, for sure I want some pink back here like that on this one. Like that bit in here. And there wasn't any pink in here, but I like pink, so let's put some anyway. It's our bubbles, right? I mean, this is the thing. You've got you've got your guide here for the, you've got a guide from the photograph. So then at this point, you kind of all bets are off. Let's see. Let's put a little bit of pink with glazing medium over the bottom of this one. Make that kind of purple. That's pretty. Let's see, what else could I do here? Yeah, maybe something here in the center. Now this one is pretty, I can't do much for that. If I want some pink in here, I'll have to put some white back. I'd have to come in here with some white because I lost it. And the same thing here. Like back in here, if I wanted some pink back in here, I'd have to come back with some white and then dry the white and put it back. But you can do that. You can layer over these bubbles. I mean, I promise you, if you got it too dark someplace, you know where the white paint is. Lighten it back up. You can't screw this up. All right, you can't screw this up because you can lighten it back up. Maybe you want it light right here again. And then when we go to dry it, and then we glaze over it. That's kind of neat. Now what was in here? I think that was good. So I was in pink, so I've got to sort of do my brushes a little different here. This is still wet. I'm going to take a little of the yellow oxide now. I'm going to go over this one and brighten this one up. A couple of these up a little bit. And I want a little bit of green for these back here. Put these, a little bit of green on these. Okay. There we go. And a little yellow oxide on this one. Ooh, too much, but that's okay. Actually, I kind of like that pink with it. I'll put a little of that pink with it too. That's pretty. Just there. I like that. So, happy accident.
Is that one of the...
That's like magenta.
Okay.
That was a little magenta right there. That got into the... Yeah, but that's pretty. Just, you never want anything just one color. So, this one in the center here, this is all sort of... this is sort of green in the center in this one. So let's make that green in the center of this one. And if I layer over some of the blue, this is what pretty with glazing is. You know, what you might do is just take a strip of canvas and do a bunch of colors and then light colors and then practice glazing over them with different stuff and see what you like. You know what I mean? You could just, you know, have some pinks and then dry it and then glaze over it with blue and different colors like a plaid. You know, kind of like this plaid shirt I'm doing. See how this, well, I don't know what I'm pointing to exactly, but like there's some plaids here. I don't know, but anyway, you get the idea, you know, because when you glaze over something, it's a little bit different than, like for instance right here, there you go, and I'm going to do that. And there was the green center, but I could chop this up a bit, so that there's some light yellow in there, but it's not all light yellow, just kind of brightened up there. Okay, and if I wanted it brighter here, let's just say I did, could come back with a little white. Now, this is titanium, okay? Some light, you've got colors in your repertoire. It can be glazing, you can add some white. You're trying to make a bubble look a little bit brighter, shinier.
Well, here's a question.
Okay.
Doing all this glazing, so would it be best to just use translucent colors? They're not going to be thin enough, are they?
No, they won't be thin enough, and you won't get these. You know, some wouldn't be thin enough. That's what the whole idea behind the glazing mediums. They're not going to be thin enough. Okay. I like, for instance, I know that. There we go. There's a. Oh, that's pretty. I like this pink right there, on that bubble. I mean, I like that color. Is this dry enough to glaze over it right like that? Something bright. Hot pink there. There we go. See? I mean, that's... you see how they're starting to look prettier? I mean, it's starting to... As we go, right? As we go, and I'm going to make this a little darker right here. Maybe say something happened here on this edge. Maybe it's a little purple right there on this edge. And what about here? Could there have been something that happened right here? There could have been. It wasn't in the picture, but there could have been. See, they're all starting to, you know, this is just a fun, you know, for me this is a very fun abstract. I think I could get, I think you guys heard that the reason that I was having the cataract surgery was John and I were taking a walk last fall, and I was looking up at the moon. And I noticed all these rainbow colors around the moon and commented on it, and John said he didn't see them, and I said, well, we artists, we see more colors than the rest of you. He says, I don't think that's how that works. Well, we do for stuff like this. You know, this is perfect. You know, if you're seeing, you know, we're creating, you know what these bubbles are that just hit me is these are like rainbows. You know, little globes, little tiny rainbows. That's what we're painting. Kind of cool, isn't it? So if I were to turn this right side up now, let me just flip this around. I want you to kind of see what this painting's going to look like. Can you zoom back out for me, John, please?
Yep. Okay, get my right hand on the left button and
keep going.
There we go. Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now when you get back from it, see, I mean, you could get back from it, you kind of see what we're painting, right? So, I want this a little bit bluer right here. I might just come over this pink and just put a little bit of blue right there. Just right there. Or I might come around. I'm kind of out of glazing medium. Boy, that stuff dries up quick on your palette. I'm just going to put a little more out here, just a little few drops at a time.
Would finishing with a string gel be a nice effect on this?
Finishing with a string gel on top of this would be pretty. Would really be pretty. If you finish the whole thing and just
It'd
put
be
it
like
on
it's
like
underwater.
honey. Yeah, it would make it look very, very. I think that would look absolutely cool, right? Absolutely cool. Now here's a little bit of glazing medium and a little bit of Southern Ocean blue. Remember this one? Let's look what that one did. Right like that. See it? See, we just painted that in, and the white's dry enough, right? For that happen, I'm going to take a little ultramarine blue and maybe take some dazzling purple. Do that. Let's take a little purple and see what happens. There's a little purple here. Oh, that's pretty. That little purple's nice. Put some purple in that one.
Is real CAD red medium a deeper color than CAD medium hue?
CAD medium hue is an artificial paint. All right.
It's man-made.
It's man-made and it's artificial. And I have never owned any, so I couldn't tell you. I guess you'd have to buy it and see. I've heard that the hues were actually brighter than the others. Actually a brighter color. You know, I've heard that, but you know, I don't know because I never buy. And I just, you know, I buy what I buy, kind of thing. All right, you see where I'm going around here playing with this now?
Yeah, very hard for me to keep up with you.
Oh, sorry. All right. Well, you see where? All right, but you can kind of see where I'm going around. Now, this one right here, I feel like we lost a little bit of the brightness of the bubble, and that's okay. Let's take some white, titanium white, right like this, and come around over this. Now we can remember this is all about layers, right? So I can just maybe like this, and let me dry that one bubble, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I'll just come over here like that. There we go. Dry that one little bubble, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So
okay, I've got the turtle ready. I'm going to have you
John's going to show a turtle while I dry a few things.
But you're just going to do the one thing, and then I'll have you talk about the turtle.
Okay.
And I'll have you back on camera for...
All right.
No, you won't be on camera, but you'll be
okay.
seen. All right. All right, I finally found this turtle I've been wanting to show you guys. I'm going to show you the first part that's sent in. This is by Kathy Evans. She sent this turtle in. Hopefully you guys can see that. And that looks pretty darn good to me. I really like it. It looks good. And Ginger had a comment and some suggestions for it, which are here. So slightly darken the tummy a little bit. Here's Ginger.
Okay, so did you have a before and after on that turtle?
Yeah, I've got the before. What do you see on? You don't see. What do you see on the screen?
I just see the after. Do you see that? You know, this was so well painted. Somebody sends me something like this in. What should I do? It was perfectly painted. Really, it looked great. I mean, I had to think about what else you could do to make it. In any painting with an underwater scene, your light source is the sun, which is above the stuff swimming in the water. Does it make sense? So the light source is coming this way. So then the tummy of the turtle would have caused a shadow on the sand. So that's why I said create a shadow on the floor of the ocean.
All right, so now here's what she sent us back in for the final.
No, wait, I'm not done yet.
I'm sorry.
And then under the chin of this one bottom turtle wouldn't be as bright, okay? So I had her glaze over that, just like we're doing today. This is a great lesson for that. Glaze over that. And also I had her increase the ocean floor a little bit. That she didn't have enough of the light blue. I had her kind of define those rocks. And because the main turtle is the top one swimming, and she's got those light rays. I mean, this is a stunning painting, really stunning. She did nothing. All right, so then show them the final, okay? Those were my suggestions. All right, do you see what happened? Do you see how she, you know, has created the shadow? You know, so now it looks like, you know, it gives more drama.
Now let me go you back to the original.
All right, so there's that's her original, okay? And you see how it's just light, and you see how it's shaded under the chin. It makes a difference on that bottom turtle, under his jaw, all right? That makes a difference. Sometimes it just, it gets to be subtle stuff. And the thing about it is that it's just how, light's working for you. And, what's causing something to be lit and so forth. So anyway, good painting. And once a month, our members can send in, you can send in the regular lessons, all week long. And as you go, you can change something, send it back. What do you think? And do it 2 or 3 times one painting, that's fine. But once a month, you can send us something that's not a lesson, that's just something that you came up with. I just can't do anything with, I know it sounds crazy, but if you've made it up out of your head, right? I need a reference photo, because you shouldn't be making, at this point, you really shouldn't be making stuff out of your head, unless you're just amusing yourself. You want to find reference photos. Maybe it's 4 or 5, and you might have to send it in 2 different emails. That's fine. But the reference photo is just, someone wrote us today and says, well, I don't see where on that form you send a reference photo. The reference photos, you have 3 slots to do images, you guys, and pick one of those and make it the photo. That's easy. All right, so you saw this. This is our, here, take some Southern Ocean Blue. This is this one right here. Now we're going to glaze over that.
And again, that painting was done by Kathy Evans.
Kathy Evans, beautiful. All right, so now we're going to pull it like that, right? See the blue? Here, they're kind of working on this one. And I want this all light right here. So it's our Southern Ocean Blue with our, here it is. And we went right over the white like that. And here's my glazing medium. So I want it a little bit lighter there, like that. Okay, so there we go. So that's the advantage of coming back with some white paint if you need to. And again, here's our zinc white. I'm going to show you what you can do with that. Take some zinc white, and you can come along here. Somebody asked when are you going to use that. You can come back here too. That's another way to lighten something, like that. Okay, so you could lighten it like that. It won't be as translucent, but you certainly can do that, right? So here's a little zinc white. There's one side I kind of did more glazing. This side I did the zinc. So it's not, again, it's not as translucent. Let's take some ultramarine blue and just give it some darker colors right here. Some few little dark shadows in our bubble, right, like that. We're coming back over here and darkening this edge up. You just don't want it all too light. Now what I need to do, see, we've put some pink in here, and we've got all of this. Here's a little bit of the dark color in this bubble back up here. Okay, I think I want a little color right there. Here's a little bit of glazing medium, and this one right there. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. I like that. Maybe there's some green in this one. Let's try some green. Right in here. Maybe a little bit more green here. Kind of down into here like this. Maybe there's a little bit of green in here. Again, we're just sort of layering over stuff like that. Layering it over. All right. You see, it takes a little time, but it's kind of, it gets pretty. Okay. And remember, here's our background color, and I want to show you this. Here's our background color, and that's why I wanted you to save some, right? Here's our background color. Now, while this is still wet, I'm going to show you. Here's some more of these in here while it's still wet. These little kind of spots are going back this way, and that's just the background color with the little yellow oxide. So again, these are some more buried. What I would say buried little circles, and anything this big, you might want to add a few more here to kind of fill up some space. Again, I'll do some background color here, like this, and then come back in here with the yellow, and just suggest some more of these circles, and kind of balance out the picture. Does that, maybe I'll make this one a little more pronounced. Come back around here like this. Some of our green. There we go. All right, so there. So that's kind of the way I wanted to suggest this might work. Here's a little mixing white, and then I'm going to just do a little highlight here on this one. Let me rinse the brush off. Get the green off of it. As I say, here's a little mixing white, right like that. Okay, I'm going to say there's a little highlight on this one, maybe here. I'll start adding a few little highlights to these bubbles, right? Okay, just a couple, nothing too scary. A few little highlights down here like that. Now we have to put the dark green center back in some of these. So this one had a very dark green center because the bubble, remember, it's translucent, you're looking through it, okay? The same thing here, I'm putting in the dark background in here like that. We'll put the dark green back. Okay, that's why I said save out some, and make sure you have enough of the, you know, your dark green. And here we're going to put this like this, and like that. And how about down in here? Let's come down to the bottom. Got something kind of dark in here like that. Same with this one. Some dark. I mean, it's a little fiddly, you know, no question about it. It's a little fiddly. But, you know, when you're done, you've got something, I think, something very different. And I think the question, what this answers the question is, how do you get some things to be kind of shiny and bright and almost
and
kind
bubbly.
of glowy and glowy, right? And bubbly, yeah, that bubbly's good. See? Bubbly's good. It definitely had a dark green.
Looks like we froze again.
Are we froze again?
Yep.
No
I'm
way.
hoping the recording's taking, and we're just going to have to replace this with the recording if it's better. What is the other red on her palette besides the Cad Red Medium?
There's magenta and naphtha crimson.
Yeah, we're doing nothing different here, guys. I don't know why. We have Xfinity, we have over 10 megabit upload speed, and I'm only trying to push out 2. So
Turn this
probably all
upside down
those Super
too.
Bowl people doing something on YouTube.
Yeah, this is a big deal. Big deal to have the Super Bowl here in Houston. They were so excited to have it. I'm gonna tell you. All right, so now we're coming back here. I'm back upside down with our bubbles.
I was going to say that looks different.
Upside
I looked
down
away
here.
for a second. Things flipped over.
Are they still? Have we lost it? Or are people
No.
still on?
No, they're hanging in there.
Well, you know, we appreciate it. The live is tricky. We can always just upload a video. That's easy, right? This live stuff is a little tricky because you know, you don't, you know, you just never know what anybody's, you know, what's going to happen. I suppose that's the fun of the excitement of live, and also the terror of live is you have no idea what's going to happen, right? It could be anything, really. All right, so I'm going to take some white, Southern Ocean blue, and I'm going to just use paint now. And just come around here like this. Okay, there's some white bubbles, and I'm going to come around. It's all right to use paint. You know, it's not against the rules to use just paint, right? Kind of, you know, dry brush over that.
I know, I kind of like the glazing. It reminds me of watercoloring.
Yeah, well, the glazing's fun, and again, it's a patience thing. Here, let's just pull some blue right here around this bubble, like that. And then, of course, you would want to varnish over all of this, too. After the glazing dries, you'd want to varnish it.
Now, does glazing take longer to dry than regular acrylics?
Yeah, glazing is, well, I'm hitting it with the hairdryer. It's kind of sticky, right? But, yeah, it does. Here we go. Look at that with this bubble. See, now we're using a little white. And I kind of want, like, an outside edge that's a little lighter. Like that. Like that. That's kind of cool, right?
I think it's very cool.
And but you see, I mean, it doesn't happen in seconds, but it can happen. I guess that's it. Here's a little Cad Red Medium, little yellow. Let's see if I can get some of that over here, like a little orange color, because we haven't done a lot of orange, right? And I might want to come, let's see, 1, 2, 3, this bubble down here, right, like this. I'm going to add some orange to this one. Okay. And then maybe this bottom one. Can you see this one
Yep,
here?
yep.
You know,
I'm moving with you.
little touches of orange here.
Yeah.
Just a couple little highlights of it, see? And then in here too, I want to do a little bit in this one. Down there. Let me get some yellow. Here. Right, like that. That's pretty. And let's see what else. I like that. Maybe I'll even put a little in here, this one. I mean, it's my picture, so I'm going to jazz it up a little bit,
I knew it. That's the same word I was thinking. You're going to jazz it. You're going to gingerize it.
Going to jazz it up a little bit. You know, I just feel like it needs to be jazzed up, so I'm going to just lighten this one.
This is what we refer to as gingerizing.
Yeah, okay. But, you know, so like here's a little bit of this light green color. Phthalo blue and yellow make a beautiful bright green, but I don't have enough yellow out now. Let me just do cad yellow medium. It's 99% cad yellow medium, and so I want a really bright green. Put some more color out.
We're talking the circus green.
Yeah, well, yeah, bubbles would be where you'd want circus green for sure. If you want circus green, you sure would want them on a bubble. Like that. For me, that's where I'd want the circus green, right? Like that. If I wanted some green. The same thing down here. I want circus green for sure. Little bop of that here and there. And then maybe here. That's nice. Back up here. All right, so I'm going to turn it back around. This is my right side up. Okay.
Let me zoom in out, give you a full picture.
Yeah, all right.
See
So do you see our bubbles? See, isn't this looking kind of cute now? You see how we're getting it? It's just all sort of bright. And remember, this photograph's on very shiny paper, so until this whole thing is varnished, maybe even put under string gel, you wouldn't see that much of it. But let's just see, like right here, I still want this brighter, so I'm going to just take some titanium white here.
I think it's cool looking.
And brighten this up right here like that. Want that one a little lighter. Want it maybe a little lighter here like this, so let's just take this outside of the brush and do that. See, make a little highlight. Now, there are some, let's see, what else am I missing here?
Oh, I like that, Judy. Gingerizing equals spicing it up.
Spicing it up, okay. Well, I just kind of, you know, sometimes you just have to stand back and look at something and say, what else would you want to do to something like this to paint it? I mean, I like this little one. You can see here, here's our little one, right? Little chain of bubbles. And you see we're getting these things. And then maybe you just take a couple little white dots of white paint like this. Like that, right on the edge here. Let's wake this up here and let's just put a couple little white dots here, bubble dots here, there. Let's just have a couple up here. Okay, and you know, that's kind of fun. And then for me, I still want a little bit lighter right there like that, so I might just put a little white like there, and then barely gently just do this here like this. There we go, like that. Just something very gently. Have that there. And then I have some bright pink. Magenta is a really good color. I'll put a little magenta and white, right? And just touch that. So maybe add some of those dots that I have. I'm going to put some magenta in here. And this one. Maybe over here. And how about some cad red medium and magenta? That's an interesting combination. Pretty bright. Go over these like this. Little dots here with color. There we go. See, that got kind of pretty quick, didn't it? The same thing up here like that, way up at the top. So you sort of have some of the white shows, but you've got the thick and thin of it. All right. How cool is that? We just sort of go out there.
Let's back her out, see what we got.
So that's what we got. And then I think when you glaze over this, you guys, when you glaze over this with you know, varnish, when you varnish over this, it'll make them, it'll pop these colors even more after they've really, had a chance to dry, which I think is kind of neat. I think I wanted this one a little bit lighter right here. My little, this bubble sort of was overlapping this one.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, this one. I'm going to make this one a little bigger here, like that. Where my pencil mark is, so just why not, right? Just a water splash. There we go. All right, so made that one a little bigger and came in with it. Sometimes you want to make sure it's just not outlined, that there's sort of a shape to it, like that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And then I've got this thing I was going to show you. I'm going to show you a trick, okay? You guys want to see something? Let's save this to the end. Sort of had this for you. John says, what are you doing?
Do I go back to you now?
You're going to go back to the table here. Going to go back to the table, all right? You guys ready for this? I'm going to move this for a second. I'll put it back, all right? Promise I'll put it back. All right, so this is warm water. Used to be warm. The soap, oh gosh. My goodness, John.
What is it?
Well, some soap here. All right, so I'm going to show you a trick.
I just wondered what you were reaching in there for. Now I have to come up to you then, right? Because you're not on camera anymore. We lost that camera.
Yeah, you're going to come up to me.
Okay. So you saw what she was doing in the.
You saw what I'm doing. This works better with warm water. It was working earlier. Let me just put this. Okay, so you got the soap here. It was warm when I started this show. The water was nice and warm.
It's because I turned the fan on. Fan cooled it off. Blame it on me. My fault.
This works the best with ivory soap.
Oh, there it is. There's a real bubble, guys. Whoa! I saw it. All
right, now you see what I did? This works with, you get soapy water and then bring your hand out and make a little membrane.
And blow gently. You're doing like the OK symbol. Look at that bubble. That's a great bubble.
All right, that's how, if you want to entertain your grandkids, and all you've got is some soap and water.
You're good to go.
You're good to go. And you can then, or your kids, you can then just take a little ivory soap and water and you just open it out so you have this film, and very gently, you can get bubbles this big with that. All right? I just thought as long as we were doing bubbles, I'd show you Ginger's grandma trick, right?
Tied you over. Hey, a question came up. Do you varnish the whole canvas or just the bubbles?
Well, here was a thought, and I had a thought, and that's a good question, because here's what you could do. You could do the background and use a matte varnish on it. And then just varnish the bubbles with the gloss varnish. It would be very pretty.
So you could do the whole thing matte, or do you have to go around?
I would have done, after I did the black background, I think I would have varnished the whole thing matte. And then
before you did the bubbles?
Before I did the bubbles,
okay.
And then put the bubbles on top. That was certainly one thing you could do, right?
That's kind of a cool idea.
And again, you can, part of me wants to just keep, and you, listen, glazing medium is a little bit like varnish. You've got to really use some good soap and water to get it out of your
brand new brushes.
Your brand new brushes, you know what I mean? Probably wasn't the smartest thing to use the best brush I had to do this with. But that being said, and glazing medium dries out very quickly, all right? So if I were to I'm just going to put a little more out here. And you don't shake it, by the way. Don't shake it. The reason that string gel would be pretty is because when you put it on, it has bubbles in it. You never get all the bubbles out. So when you pour it on, you would put this up on like little caps like this, and put it over, say, aluminum foil on little caps, so you didn't glue it down, and then you'd pour that string gel on top and then smear it all around, and it would be really pretty. I may do that with this and show you what it looks like later.
I'd be so scared. That's so big to do string gel.
It would take a whole jar. It would take a whole jar, and it's like $15 a jar. You have to really want it, right? It's not inexpensive, but it is sort of fun. But like, here's some glazing medium. Now I'm just going to put some on top again, like that. Now it's going to make these.
Make it look cloudy.
It shouldn't be cloudy.
Oh.
It's going to shine them up a bit. It's going to shine them up because it'll make them even shinier. I mean, you could do a few layers of just glazing medium, and it'll shine up, or varnish, right? Or let's put. I'd probably let's put a little bit of blue on that. There we go. Look at this bottom one here, like that. See, this bottom one was sort of out of focus. Ooh, that's pretty, isn't it? Like that. Like just down here at the bottom, that one. So you probably don't want to put glazing, pure glazing medium John. I think it has to have some paint in it. That you want to use varnish for that. Don't do that. Don't put the pure glazing. Use varnish. You don't want to do that. You have to have some color in the glazing for it to work. Otherwise, it might not dry. All right, I'm going to zoom back out on this. Here we go. There, make that a little bigger. All right, I think that's our class for tonight. I think that was sort of fun. I'm excited about tomorrow night. We're going to just Ginger's birthday bash tomorrow night on Wednesday night, 7:30. We should have a good time. I think we'll have a good time. We'll let you know what painting we're giving away for the birthday. Because on my birthday, I give you guys something. If you hadn't heard that, there's you'll go to my website and we will unveil the painting tomorrow night, and you can download it, keep the lesson for posterity. It's yours. Or you could just watch it on our site. You don't have to download it, but if you wanted to keep it, you could. That's something you could absolutely do. Have fun with this.
Isn't it true you don't use a blow dryer on varnish?
I generally don't use a blow dryer on varnish.
You just let it naturally, don't you?
I just let it dry naturally. It usually dries in an hour. You can recoat it. The next day is better, possibly better, but you can recoat it in an hour. And I'm looking to see what else. I think we did pretty good. Had a what is this? Cad yellow light. Cad yellow light would be good too on this, just back down here real quick.
Yeah, somehow I know it's going back now.
Just on a couple of the little cad yellow light, little drop of that somewhere might be pretty on your bubble, right? Let's see that. Just right out of the tube, like that. Just have some fun with this. Here's some cad yellow light, right like that, right out of the tube, right over that orange. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I mean, it's hard for me to quit wanting to quit layering, because even this, look at that. Isn't that cool? It is. I mean, it's just the techniques you can do, and you'll learn a lot doing this. I think you'll learn a lot about your paints and what they do. It's a good, fun thing. And imagine two of these. If you really zoom us out now, zoom us out as far as it'll go. Imagine a pair of these, two of these paintings on a wall, all varnished and stuff. I think they'd look real pretty. I think they'd be really cool. You could have fun with it. So that's our bubbles, you guys.
That is the bubble lesson.
And listen, likes and I know we appreciate all your comments, but when you go back, when you watch this again, if you decide to, when you go back to our channel, give us an hour to get it up. It's not us; it's YouTube makes an hour after we get off of here and we stop. If you try to get back on, if you get back off, and you say, "Well, I couldn't find it," you can't find it because YouTube needs a whole hour to process the videos. But then after that, comments and likes and and shares are very much appreciated. Thanks, you guys. Have fun, and we're always interested in what you want to paint. Thanks for the questions, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Naturally, Sammy says goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, Sammy. Good night, John.
Good night, Ginger. Good night, Sammy.
Good night, you guys.